I'm here in my car before a district meeting, and I'm doing my best to channel my inner Jerry Brooks. Don't you love his videos? Well, today on the Q&A, we're not going to talk about kindergartners. We're going to talk about 1, how to love on your staff, and 2, how you know when you're moving from a culture of coaching to a culture of compliance and discipline as a school leader. And I know if you're listening and you pay attention, you're going to have a great impact on your school. I'm Jethro Jones. Thanks for watching this video.
All right, we're here. This is Danny Sunshine Bauer from
What's up?
Better Leaders, Better Schools, and my friend Jethro Jones from Transformative Principal. And today is Tuesday, so we do Tuesday Q&A. Jethro, what's going on? How are you doing today?
Oh man, I am loving life. Just want to give a little peek behind the curtain.
Whoa!
I don't have my green screen up today. I mean, I have the screen up, but I didn't do the virtual background because it did something funky, which it sometimes does, and I didn't want to fix it. So,
yeah, that's scary. So don't do that. Yeah, people are gonna freak out. Nice. Well, thank you for helping us with those tech issues for sure. And yeah, just appreciate everything you do. Going into the Q&A. Oh, what is that? Oh my God.
Yeah, I got it here in person.
Oh,
Check
wow.
that out. How do you like that? Now, let me just highlight something real quick. Chapter 9, Love
Good chapter.
Others.
Yeah.
Are you going to get a chapter called Love Others in any other school leadership book? I don't know. I'm just saying, that's pretty awesome.
That's what I'm all about, loving others. That's the thing that people say, right? They don't care what you have to say. They care about, that you care about them. And once they know that, right, that you have that deep compassion for them, that you have their best interests at heart, they can finally hear those words that you are actually saying. So hopefully that comes through in these videos and the podcast, everything that you and I put together, so that people get a lot of value from, both our shows and potentially this book.
Yep. And so right here, this part right here talks about giving or personalizing what you give your staff. So you're not just giving gifts to people, but you're actually giving personalized gifts. And what I love about this is that you are a good example of this. Many times you have connected me or reached out to me or given me something or done something that was personal to me that showed me that you cared about me as a human being. And that's what I love. So I actually took this from you last year, and I did personalized gifts for all my staff because you had already talked to me about this before you wrote it. And it was just an idea back then.
Right,
so what I did is I got personalized gifts for each of my staff for Teacher Appreciation Week.
Yeah.
And so we got for the board game geeks in my school, we got them board games. Actually, the game called Dominion. I don't know if you played that.
Oh, man. I was such a nerd. I put all my cards in a plastic holder. In that game, everybody that's watching the video, they has 300, 400 cards. They're all in. Yeah. I didn't want them to get messed up or bent.
Yeah, it's a good game. Lots of fun. And so then for different people, we just got them different things. And we tried really hard to think about who we were giving the gifts to. And give them something that would be meaningful to them. We got more thank yous and more gratitude from that than from any other time I've ever given gifts to my staff. So excellent idea. Definitely do that.
Let's stay there for a second. How did you fund it? Those gifts?
Same way we funded gifts that we would do at any time otherwise with the school money that we used for that. So some people you use the big general fund money. Some people use the student activities. Some people use fundraiser money, vending machine money. We just, instead of buying everyone, we always spent money on them for that Teacher Appreciation Week.
Right.
And so instead of, buying everybody a $20 gift, that was all the same. Right. We bought some people a $10 gift. We bought some people a $30 gift, and it just depended on who they were and what they got. And it's not about the monetary amount. Right. It's about you actually knowing them well enough to know that they matter and you know them enough to say, here's something that you would like. So
That's super cool.
that's really what it came down to.
Yeah, within the mastermind too, if I could share this quick story, I want to be generous there as well, right? And people obviously invest in both our masterminds, but
Mm-hmm.
sometimes a member will refer another, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when that happens, I want to say thanks, especially, well, obviously if they sign up and invest in the mastermind, I'm going to say thank you. And so the way I did that is just, yeah, definitely understanding the people. But again, the monetary amount doesn't matter. So I sent Eileen, for example, she referred somebody over to me, Kevin, and Kevin joins. Eileen's way into crosswords, like just a word junkie, a word nerd. And I asked her, I said, hey, Eileen, do you ever play the New York Times crossword app on your phone, right? Because she's an international, heroic international school leader, so she doesn't get the paper. And she said, you know, Danny, I actually never have. And I'm thinking, you serious? Like you've never played, right? And it's a subscription, that kind of thing. So I got her that. And it costs a certain amount, but it's probably under $50. I don't remember at this point.
Right.
But the guy she referred, Kevin, he referred 2 more people to me. Okay. And just to say a big thank you to him. He's also a heroic leader overseas, in an international school. And he's originally from Philadelphia. So, you know, in terms of football, they won the Super Bowl last year. So he got a Super Bowl jersey with the patch, Nick Foles on the back. And that was significantly more expensive than the New York Times app. But it's not about like, oh, this person gets this much and this person gets that much. It's about that they got something that they truly value, just like the board game Dominion that you got your staff members. And the cool thing too is, guess what? Every mastermind meeting we have, when we were on this video, he's wearing that Eagles jersey. And I love it. I love it so much. It makes me so happy. And, you know, I wonder if he sleeps in it and that kind of thing. So he absolutely loves that jersey, which is pretty cool. But let's keep this video moving. And you know, you had a great question for us to discuss here in the last half of today's video.
So the question is, when do you move from being a supportive coaching administrator who's helping someone get better into the disciplinarian type role of holding someone accountable and, you know, basically putting them on the path that if you don't improve, you're going to be, there's going to be consequences up
Right.
to and including termination is the terminology you always use in those letters.
Yeah.
So my question really is, how do you know when to start making that shift? And because it's a hard shift to make, but it's a needed shift to make if you've got someone who's just not performing.
Sure. You know, I think if I'm thinking about that situation and when to pivot from coach to giving a little more directives in terms of here's what you need to do, or up to and including termination type deal, I want to see if there's fruit, right, from our discussions and from the coaching. And that's a really great metaphor too, right? Because in terms of the seeds that you plant, whether it's a tree, a flower, whatever, they all bear fruit. You know, look around just in the world, observe nature, and this can teach you how to be a great leader. Now, if there's no fruit bearing from what you are planting, then maybe it's time to cut off a limb to promote some more growth, but don't really cut off a limb, right? This is a metaphor, guys. But the idea is that, you know, you might need to be a little more direct in terms of what that coaching might look like to promote the growth. And so I think it's really important to establish when things are good and the person's open to coaching, what does it look like, right? So if a person's struggling with classroom management, right, what does an effective teacher look like in a classroom that has world-class classroom management? You know, what would I see and hear? What are the students, you know, doing, and all that kind of stuff? And so in that coaching conversation, identify those things in the beginning when stuff is good, and then bring that into every coaching conversation. And that will show you if there's fruit. So that's part of it. And then my second answer would be the person's hungry, right? And you know, people that contact you, they come to your office, they send you emails, they text you, leave you boxes, however you communicate in your building. But there's people that are proactive. They reach out for support. you have high achievers that are clearly the best in the building who are asking to be pushed because they want to be even better. Those are the type of people that join our masterminds, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have an underperformer in my group,
Right.
that's just not how it works, because they're not hungry, which is part of the reason they're underperforming. And so I want to see proactive people, hungry people, and folks that actually want the coaching and want the feedback. There's, use your eyes and just observe. I'm doing a lot of talking right now, but if I saw you, right, and Jethro, and if you were like, right, and not engaging in the conversation, if I'm asking questions and I know I'm just dropping gold and helping out, and like, if you did this, like, in my mind, because I'm an expert now, and so are you, and if you did and take action on these things, you will see great stuff happen in your class. And they don't receive it, right? They don't hear it. Well, that tells you something too. So there are people that are uncoachable. So you got to look for the fruit. You got to look at their body language, and their openness to it. But what say you, Jethro?
Well, I think that your idea of look at the fruit, I think, is really, really important, because if you're not seeing progress and they're not doing the things you suggest, or they're not doing some things, even if they're not what you suggest, I think that's a big red flag that something's not going right. And so I think that is great advice to take. And that was something that I needed to hear today, because now I'm thinking about my conversations with teachers in the past who I needed to move to that disciplinarian type stage. And I saw that it was exactly because they were not bearing fruit. And I think that's a great metaphor for how to make it really work and work well. So I'd agree with that wholeheartedly. I think the other thing that I was thinking on that is, in schools, there are certain timelines of when you need to do certain things.
Right.
And if before a certain deadline hits, then that it's not going to be working out, then you need to start taking action. If you don't know, then you need to give that person all the benefit of that doubt and all the time to get better. And I say that for two reasons. Number one, if you're not going to meet the deadline, then your desired outcome of discipline is not going to work out anyway, because they're going to fight it and they're going to win, because you have to have those timelines in place. But the second thing is, if you can be a coach and lift people up, that binds people to you and makes them want to work with you. And, I've worked with people where I've come in to the building and they've been on a plan of improvement or got a really bad evaluation last year or whatever. And my approach is, hey, I am here to help you be successful. And I'm just going to work my tail off to support you. And, that puts me in a really good position of I'm just supporting. But then if things go poorly, then I can say, man, I've done everything that I possibly can. And here's all the things that didn't work. I'm still trying to support you. And it just looks like it's not working out. That's a much different approach than, coming in and like trying to break skulls, which I've also done that, and that does not work well. So I would suggest not doing that.
I have two last points. You jogged my memory on a couple of things, but one, I love that you said and you communicated to somebody, I'm going to work my tail off to support you. Here's the thing. I talked about reading your body language when I'm communicating with you. Well, also look in the mirror. Think about your body language and your heart and your disposition before you even have a challenging conversation. Because here's the thing. I know, Jethro, if you're going to work the tail off to support me before you even say a word. I know. I just know, right? And we all know this kind of stuff. And I just, it really frustrates me, these BS leaders that say support and all the right things, the political things, but they're just pushing you out, right? So be honest. If you really are concerned and there is a plan, like, communicate that. Don't say I'm here, to help you grow, because you're not. You're not. And so I just really have a big problem with that. The other thing too, again, the internal gut check. We read Switch 3 years ago in the Mastermind by Chip and Dan Heath. And the biggest thing, I talk about this all the time in the podcast. You've probably heard it a number of times from me too. But when you see resistance, often as a leader, we assume that means that people don't want to, get coaching or grow or, plug into the new initiative or whatever. But actually, you might be wrong, and you probably are. So go a few levels deeper, ask some really good questions, and try to find out like what's going on. And you can even just literally say, Jethro, it looks like you're resisting coaching. The story I'm telling myself is that you don't find this time valuable, and you don't want to implement, the things that we talk about. Am I off, or is this right? And that gives a person the opportunity to step up to the plate and be honest themselves. And what you'll find out is maybe, some things are really going on under the ground. And who knows, maybe somebody has cancer in their family and that's really weighing down on them. There could be a variety of things going on. Sometimes it's just fear. Fear if I do this new thing, this coaching that Jethro has given me, I'm scared that I'm going to fail and I need support. So there could be a million things happening. But a lot of times we just see something that looks like resistance and they're like, oh, he's not on the team. He's fighting against me. And we tell a story that's completely wrong. So you gotta do that gut check, ask questions. Again, be radically honest with people and find out what the truth is.
Yeah, man, I love that. I think that's incredibly powerful. And that honesty, man, you got to have that. And if you don't, it's too difficult to be successful for sure.
Awesome. Cool. Well, I think it's a good point to wrap the video. Any closing thoughts that you want to add?
I think if you haven't yet, you need to go buy this book. So make sure you do that.
You know what's neat, Jethro, is like as something in Amazon becomes more popular, right? And people are looking for it. Amazon's just a search engine like Google or YouTube, iTunes, etc.
Right.
And it pre-populates, right? So in the beginning, the first day that the book was released, you'd have to write the whole thing out. Now if you type in, try it. I think if you type in better and then just LE, it'll pop up Better Leaders, Better Schools Roadmap. And that's pretty cool because that means, people want it. And for the viewers, if you got any value from today's video, there's a few things that you could do to say thank you. One, you could buy the book, but two, did it work?
There it is. Better Leaders, Better School Roadmap. Boom. Okay.
And look at that. It's before Better Learning Through Structured Teaching. Like, I don't even believe me. Like, that's actually a very big deal. So that's so cool, man. Thank you for showing everybody that. That's pretty neat. But like this video, buy the book, like the video, share this video on social media, click follow and subscribe wherever you're watching, and answer today's question of the day, which is, what is your best coaching question that you use, right? So if you have a great coaching question, put it in the comments below. Jethro and I would love to read it. We love you, love others, right? Personalize those gifts.
Right.